Hey everyone, welcome back to CU Live. I'm Lauren Sega, Associate Editor with Columbus Underground, and here I've got the two who started it all, Ann and Walker Evans, founders of Columbus Underground. Welcome.
Thank you.
So today we're doing a year-end roundup of our food and restaurant news and some civics there at the end if you can handle it. We've had some pretty big news throughout the year, definitely some disappointing closures, like Blue Danube, 80 years, Neil North neighborhood. Now they're done.
Yeah. I mean, I think that was a bit of a surprise to a lot of people. It's kind of an old standby. I know a lot of people have fond memories of going there when they were in college, and it will be missed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we'll see what happens to the mural on the side.
Yeah. And then we had a CBC restaurant. They were supposed to transform to that Oxbow concept, but unfortunately the owner got sick. Never got to go through with that.
They had a lot of issues as well with construction over the past couple of years around their site down there, kind of in the back end of the brewery district. So I know that didn't treat them too well during that time.
We also had some monumental openings though. Amber's Neve, that's what I'm most excited about personally. And then Harvey and Ed's, Karen Mitchell came out with a new concept, and down in German Village we had Alpine, Alugar, and that was pretty cool. Some of our like homegrown chains I feel like did some crazy expansions this year, like Mikey's and Condado. I know Condado went to Polaris, and Mikey's came down here downtown.
Yeah,
which was cool.
Yeah, we even Brassica opened a second location in Bexley, and they've got another one coming early next year. So it's good to see those businesses see continued success,
thriving. But then like what I saw most of, or not most of, but I also observed this year was that restaurateurs kind of playing around with new concepts, like Rick Lopez down at Tavola opening up Lupo in Arlington, and Guillermo over at Si Senor, he opened up Criollo like last month.
Relatively new.
Yeah. And then what else do we see?
It's interesting because the obvious thing would be to just open another location of a proven concept,
right.
But I think, and we've heard from a couple of restaurant owners, that it gives them the freedom to experiment a little bit, to kind of do some different things with their menus, or kind of get outside the box a little bit. Because if there's an established place that has a certain kind of cuisine, if you start to venture too far, you risk alienating your existing customers. So
I feel like some of the expansions though are using the bowl format a little too much, which can be exciting and fun, but also sometimes you can feel as a customer that you're not putting the right ingredients together. So
definitely helps to have some signature bowls out there.
Yeah.
Make sure you're not screwing too much up.
We're joking around the office a little bit that in a couple of years, but year 2022, we'll be eating everything out of a bowl.
That's where we're all headed. It's all in one spot, right?
Yeah.
So what some other trends do you think that we've seen like throughout the year? You mentioned experiences. Can you kind of elaborate on that?
Yeah, it seems like there's a common theme, as maybe generationally too, younger audiences think about going out to eat as less of maybe a precursor to doing something else, like we're going to go dinner and a movie, or dinner and a show, or dinner and a hike, or something like that, and thinking more of the food-based part of their outing as being the experience itself. So you see in restaurants more communal seating or more kind of engaging experiences. I mean, you see this with bars too, like 16-bit and pins are places you do more than just drink. There are things to do with your hands while you're there. But like food halls, the uprise of those all across the country kind of lean into that. And even like food trucks, I mean, that's what they, how they were kind of restarted in the past 5, 6, 7 years, were based on the idea of having an experience that isn't permanent. It's not there all the time. It's a pop-up. You miss out if you don't go get it. So being a part of that experience is more than just going to sit at a table and put food in your mouth.
For sure. I think what's interesting about pop-ups is that it's kind of like a byproduct of just like new restaurateurs trying to find cheap, easy ways to start a business. It's not as easy to just buy a building or lease a building and start from scratch. Like they get to use someone else's kitchen, and then they get to use their space and their clientele to basically build their name too, which is cool.
yeah, it's kind of a hybrid between starting with a food truck first, or do you start with a pop-up concept and then move as you grow, move into your own restaurant.
Right.
Which is probably the dream end goal.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's kind of nice too because it allows those food entrepreneurs to have kind of proof of concept if they're seeking finances, either from like a bank or investors or anything, to say, you know, we were able to do these pop-ups and show we have fans, we have customers, there's a need for my food, versus going to a bank with an idea and them questioning, you know, will this work?
Sure, and then it kind of, for that experiential diner, kind of ensures the kind of revolving door of new concepts, because as pop-ups grow in popularity, they leave that space, find their own brick and mortar, and then some other pop-up can come and fill that void. Like just High Poke, I guess, starting at Oddfellows, I saw them, you know, they got their own location in the Short North last year. Woodhouse filled that void, and now they're getting their own pop-up. And I know there's Odd Taco over there too, but I'm just curious to find out like what's going to replace Woodhouse.
Yeah. Well, can we give a shout out to High Poke for having cold fish on cold rice, which is, I know, one of your favorite things. You can't have hot rice and cold fish together. It doesn't work.
But some other things I've seen is as Columbus and Ohio broadly has become more friendly toward bars and restaurants, we've seen the opening of some pretty cool concepts, especially distilleries and breweries being able to do more than just produce a product and hope people find it on a shelf. They can come in and taste it and pair it with food and have like a whole experience around it. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you see that in brewery. Seventh Son had their big expansion that opened this year, and I know we just had them on the show last week. But
shout out.
Watch that episode. But a lot of their new space isn't just production space; it's having that event venue that they can rent out, do their own events, and provide that experience.
Plus, now we get to have pups on patios. Bring your dog. Yeah. Experiential dining dog.
Even better when they're sort of on a rooftop, like the Brewdog in Franklinton. Get the skyline deal.
Yeah, that was an interesting thing to see change, because a lot of bars already hosted pups on patios events, which were technically illegal, but it was never widely enforced, I don't think.
Right. Well, it's kind of like
that's why we have legislation that night to do it.
Right. But outside the restaurant world, I think like a lot has changed. Just the National Veterans Museum that opened, as far as civics are concerned.
Yeah, that was a huge thing for Columbus.
National monument.
Yeah, it seems to be really well received too. I mean, they seem busy so far. So.
I mean, just architecture-wise, I haven't been able to visit yet, but architecture-wise, that's just a crazy cool building.
Yeah, when we do our annual architectural surveys, which we do when the ideas are first conceptualized and renderings are presented, it won like several years ago as being the best local architecture. So, and that's a general public survey, so everyone seems to like it.
And then we saw some other openings like the All People's Fresh Market down in Parsons. Free food, free produce.
Always a good thing,
yeah. That was a good investment on the south side. Mosaic opened their space. Saw the Huckleberry House get recognized by the Columbus Foundation with their Hard Work Award for Kyra Hodge, and they also had a successful Giving Tuesday, raising over $1 million for nonprofits.
Yeah, big year for nonprofits. Stonewall nonprofit saw its own pretty big transformation, not just a new facility, but 8 new board members and a new executive director. Big overhaul over there.
Great interview that we did with her.
Yeah, AJ. Yeah, she's great. AJ Casey. She's got a lot of work ahead of her.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll stay on top of that throughout 2019.
Beyond that, I think a lot is going down at council for sure. Trying to tackle some national issues of their own, gun control, criminal justice. I think it's interesting. The limitations that cities have, especially with preemptive bills that states like to pass to prevent them from actually facilitating change, how much council has been able to do, and looking forward to seeing more.
We are seeing a lot of work at Zach Klein's office.
Yeah.
Shut down almost 20 meth houses, I think, or drug houses, and then he's also been working in troubled neighborhoods, getting trouble spots closed.
Nuisances,
so, It seems like he's been doing a lot.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see too. We're in the midst of a nomination process in City Council. We have 2 council members that are moving on to new positions in January, so probably not a lot will change in terms of the makeup of council and kind of their policies and stuff. But it'll be interesting to see who gets appointed, and then we'll have to run for election.
Yeah, those finalists. There are some good people on that list, so I'm assuming.
Yeah, we shall see.
Good changes, yeah. We'll see. All right, well, good year-end roundup.
Yeah. Cool.
Well, thanks. That's been food and civics, and you love mixing those two together, right?
Always, yeah.
This has been See You Live. Thanks for joining.